Okay, things that have had a name change after they've become famous. Let's see. There's Kanye West to Ye, there's Twitter to X, and now there's this, the new Audi Q8 e-tron. But that was confusing because every electrified Audi has made before or since has used e-tron as a suffix, as an adjective, not a noun. But wait, there's more, because Audi has also facelifted it as well as introduced a raft of improvements as it takes on the BMW iX, Jaguar I-Pace and Mercedes-Benz EQC. My name is Byron Mathioudakis for CarsGuide.com.au and I'm here to review the Audi Q8 e-tron. Let's go. Unlike me, let's get one thing straight first. The Q8 e-tron has nothing to do with the Q8 diesel, petrol and SQ8 high performance models that also share the name. More naming confusion.
These, along with the larger Q7, have internal combustion engines. However, keep in mind that all leverage variations of the same MLB Evo architecture that first saw the light of day all the way back in 2015. So, no spring chickens here. That said, as it currently also serves Bentley, Lamborghini and Porsche SUVs, we're talking about a classy set of components down there. For now, only a single variant is here, known as the Q8 e-tron 55, meaning the previous smaller battery 50 and flagship SQ8 Sporty aren't here yet. As before, there's a choice of a traditional SUV wagon or more popular BMW X6 style Sportback SUV coupe. Prices start from $153,900 before on-road costs for the former and $165,900 for the latter. And that's a jump of nearly $8,000 and $9,000 respectively over their predecessors. All models include adaptive air suspension, front and rear climate control, heated seats, leather upholstery and adjustable regenerative energy paddles behind the steering wheel to help slow you down without you having to touch the brakes. Plus, an undisclosed number of launch edition SUVs have landed from $165,900, adding Audi's sporty S-line styling touches like black 21-inch wheels, bolstered front seats, darkened trim and more. Pricing and spec are generally in line with the luxury Euro EV SUV competition, which is to say, a bit on the exy side. Anyway, let's check out all the visual changes.
Okay, so it looks similar to the old e-tron, but the Q8 e-tron version actually has this new mask with a wider, sleeker grille that's meant to give the car a kind of a better stance on the road. But more importantly, it debuts Audi's new logo display, which is this 2D flat effect, which will appear on future models from here on in. Coming around the side, I can point to redesigned headlights and bumper stuff. There's improved aero bits down here, fresh wheels, and you still get two flaps, one on each side, which is very handy. And then there's this badging situation on the B pillar, which has the make and model. I don't know whether I like that.
Please note that the same applies to the Sportback, though that gets extra aero aids to make it even more aerodynamic than before.
And back here with the wagon, there have been little or no changes to the back. I do not know, I couldn't find it in the press kit, but it still looks good for a 5-year-old design. Anyway, let's go inside and check out what's changed with the interior.
Not much change here compared to the outgoing e-tron, and not that much was needed to be honest. You'll still find a strikingly stylish and upmarket cabin offering sufficient space for 5 people, superbly supportive front seats that are a boon when long distance driving is required, plenty of storage options, ample ventilation and suitably moody lighting. While not the most modern dash on the market, the Q8 e-tron remains very architectural in appearance and presentation. Trim and material quality are certainly up to brand expectations, and there are no fewer than 3 screens, a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster Audi calls Virtual Cockpit, a 10.1-inch central multimedia display, and an 8.6-inch unit for the climate controls. You can see, smell and feel where your money's gone inside here.
Righto, I love the cocooning luxury feel. It feels like a proper premium SUV in here. The quality of the materials, the rich aroma, the feel of the switchgear, it's right on brand. The instrumentation is clear, concise, and very informative. Great driving position, excellent vision out from the front anyway, and there's a sense of feeling and space and lots of practicality. All Audi virtues in both the wagon and the Sportback. However, the dash is looking dated. It's a little bit 2016 Audi Q7 for me, despite the changes and upgrades since then. And I would avoid the optional exterior mirrors. The camera mirrors, they just don't feel intuitive or natural, and you just don't know where to look in an emergency. They save your money. Luckily, this particular car has good old-fashioned, proper exterior mirrors. One reason why you might consider buying the Q8 e-tron wagon over the Sportback is that you get more boot capacity space, 569 litres versus 528 litres, and of course, you get what I think is a better looking design. Oh, and there's one more thing I forgot. Up front, underneath the bonnet, is this storage, which is handy for all your charging cables. And speaking of charging,
For now, all Q8 e-tron models continue with 2 electric motors, one on each axle, for quattro all-wheel drive. Upgraded motor internals are set to improve efficiency substantially. In the 55 model, the dual motor setup delivers a combined 300 kilowatts of power and 664 newton meters of torque for a healthy 0 to 100 sprint time of 5.6 seconds on the way to a 200 km/h top speed. Other updates include more direct steering, stiffer front suspension, and retuned chassis controls.
righto. For decades, Audi used to use an advertising tagline, Vorsprung durch Technik, which in its native German means progress through technology, or some such. Anyway, speaking of progress, let's see how the Audi Q8 e-tron drives. As with all electric vehicles, particularly premium ones, the Q8 e-tron follows its predecessor's lead in being one of the smoothest and quietest SUVs you can buy on the market, and that's because, of course, it's all electric. Acceleration is strong, and the steering is light and maneuverable, yet there's still enough meat and feel through corners for it to be an enjoyable, dynamic experience. None of those things have changed. Also, because the adaptive air suspension is standard, it generally rides pretty well, though I do prefer the ride on the standard wheel rather than the optional 21-inch wheel and tyre package. It's fairly quiet on Australian bitumen roads, although on this particular course one it is a bit noisy, and generally it absolutely remains on brand as a driving experience. However, you can really feel the weight of the Q8. It has this huge battery, it's low down, but there's no escaping physics. When you accelerate, it's fast, like no one's going to say this thing's slow, but you can kind of feel the mass moving, and that's particularly obvious when you are driving this through tighter corners. Another thing is, even though Audi does provide these paddle shifters so you get several levels of regenerative braking, so you can slow down without having to put your foot on the brake, and that works particularly well around town. It doesn't give you full one pedal driving, so it doesn't bring you to a full stop. I think that more than anything betrays the age of the Q8 e-tron. So in conclusion, dynamically, the Q8 is certainly agile and capable, but it also does feel its age and its weight a bit.
The good news is that the lithium-ion battery pack size rises from 95 to 114 kilowatt hours and is accompanied by faster DC charging capability due to a jump from 150 to 170 kilowatts. This cuts down charging times by a considerable margin. The claimed driving range is 454 kilometers WLTP, while average consumption is a fairly disappointing 25.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. During our test run, the Q8 we were driving recorded a mid to high 20s readout. The Q8 e-tron range recently scored a 5-star crash test rating from ANCAP. There is no shortage of safety equipment, either passive or driver assist tech designed to avoid an accident, with full surround view cameras also providing that extra level of security. Plus, those dual electric motors deliver the extra surety of all-wheel drive. Don't forget to check my full review for full safety details. Audi provides a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, as well as 6 years worth of free roadside assistance, which is nothing unusual these days, while the battery warranty is 8 years or 160,000 kilometres. The first 6 years of scheduled servicing is free as well, while intervals are every 2 years or 30,000 kilometres, whichever comes first. Finally, owners can receive 6 years of complimentary access to ChargeFox's network across Australia.
The 2024 Audi Q8 e-tron ushers in changes and improvements that are welcome in an already likeable and capable electric large SUV. However, compared to newer rivals like the BMW iX, it isn't quite as good to drive, its large battery range is disappointing, it's dated, and prices are creeping up. The name change isn't enough. What the Q8 e-tron really needs is a massive leap in Vorsprung durch technique to keep up in a rapidly evolving EV landscape. Here is my score on a screen right now. Don't forget, you can read the full review at carsguide.com.au, and as always, thanks for watching.